table conversations. We'll ask you to respond just to one further question. If you had your magic wand with you, maybe you do, that would be good. And you could make one thing happen in this community that would create a more compassionate community response. What might that be? We'll pass out a couple of more microphones here. Whoever wants to take it.
I guess the one thing that comes to mind, and I'll make this short so we can go on, but teaching tolerance. We've been taught tolerance for ethnicity, for different people, for cultures, for race. We've been taught tolerance for people who are physically disabled, who are cognitively disabled. But I don't know necessarily if our youth, if our youth especially, have been taught tolerance for their peers that have these mental health issues that act out, that make them look different. So, and that was actually from one of my youth that I interviewed who has mental health issues. That was her advice to the community.
I'm just going to say one quick thing too, just to kind of piggyback right off of what Heather said is not just the tolerance, but educating youth themselves on why their peers are the way they are. There's nothing wrong with their peers. We need to educate other people about the mental illness and that it's okay that they have a mental illness and they can be a wonderful community member. We just need to help them and work with them, but we need to educate each other.
I would piggyback on the piggyback. And I think the word that came to my mind, a couple words came to my mind. One was normalizing. It's normal to talk about your health. And two is to talk about mental health versus mental illness, because we're all physically healthy to varying degrees. We're all mentally healthy to varying degrees. So that's normal. Let's make it normal. And to that, I will add something that I think is a really important point about some of the work I'm involved with, and that I didn't say, and I think is really important. The Teen Center is run by the Y, and it's open to all teens. We are happening to talk about mental health tonight in teens, and I want you to know that's one component of the Teen Center, and that's a very important thing for people to know, because all teens have mental health. So any and all teens come to the Teen Center. We're not for certain kids who are the certain kids who have certain things. All kids have mental health, and we're there to help strengthen the mental health of all kids. And so that's kind of what I mean by normalizing.
As a superintendent, I get really concerned about bullying and how that can sometimes contribute to and or exacerbate the way students are feeling about themselves and lead them into thinking about bad things, quite honestly. What they might do to themselves versus what they might do to someone else. And challenge for us is that we know it happens. We know also that there are students who never report it. That really concerns me, because when it's not reported, we don't know, and of course. And I think that the best impact we can make as adults is to make a pact with each other as adults that we will not bully. Because our kids don't need to look any further than watching the TV and see bullying happen by adults. If they model their behaviors after adults, they're going to bully like adults. There's a lot of things that we can do better in our schools. I know that for a fact, and I know that our staff is working on it all the time. But when the kids go home and they see it at home, when they see it on TV, you don't need to watch many political ads right now to see the kind of bullying that's going on, whether it's very abrupt or subtle or whether it's flat-out bullying. It's happening all the time. And the kids think it's licensed. That's the way they can think about people. That's the way they can talk about people behind their backs and in front of them. And I would challenge us all to make a pact with one another, that's just not going to happen, not in our community. We will not bully each other as adults. We will not oppress other people, so that our children can live with that hope that they won't have to experience that on the backs of others.
Excellent. A good place to break. Thank you again to all of the panelists. We'll take 15 minutes so that we can visit the displays, talk to the people, buy several copies of Alice's book, and then we'll come back and have our table discussions.